folks, welcome to this edition of Southern Fried Cajun. Today we're going to be making one of my favorite dishes, chicken pasta supreme. This was a dish I used to eat back in the day. It was made by a little restaurant down in Marietta, Georgia, where I grew up, called the Italian Kitchen. They've since gone by the wayside, but it's a great dish. I always had fond memories of it, and finally found a recipe on Facebook and tried it, and it was good. It was really close to the original, but we're going to try something a little different today because I'm always trying to make it better. So let's get started. All right, let's go over the ingredients we're going to be using today. First, we're going to make a bechamel, or a white gravy, cream gravy, and we're going to use the buttermilk, some butter, some all-purpose flour, and we're going to do that here on there in the stove. But this recipe is basically ranch-based flavor, so that's really the only flavor in this recipe other than the oregano, salt, and pepper. We're going to go with that. We're going to try that, and then we're going to come over here, and we got mozzarella cheese. There's going to be 3 cups of mozzarella cheese in this. Got the rotini noodles. You have to use rotini because that's what they used, and you can change it up if you like, but that's the original. Parmesan cheese. There's 2 cups of Parmesan cheese. So that's a lot of cheese. And so we have our chicken here. We get our chicken from a processor here, local. The grocery store chicken kind of scares me how big they are. So, but this chicken really has a great flavor. We usually vacuum pack these 2 to a pack. So we're not gonna probably use all this chicken, but we got out a couple, and we're gonna. The chicken's not the star of this show. In fact, the original recipe called for chicken. You could get it with chicken, sausage, or mushrooms, or any combination thereof. But the chicken was always my favorite, so that's what we're gonna do today. A little salt and pepper for the chicken. And to top the whole dish off, we've got some oregano. So let's get started making this. Okay, we got our pan heating up here. Got it on medium heat. We're gonna go with half a stick of butter. Get this melted down. I'll turn that down just a little more. I'm all about lower and slower. I don't go fast, so you can go faster with these and get a faster result, but that increases your chance of burning too. So I like to keep a slower pace so I don't get out of control. All right, we're getting close there. Just want to make sure we get all that melted first. We're basically making a roux. We're just going to make a blonde roux, tan roux. Not real dark. We're not going for that. We're going for just a little bit of color. All right, to our half a stick of butter. Then we're going to add a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. And get to stirring. This pan may be a little bit larger than I should have used, but keep working it and it'll be fine. You can see all those little clumps of flour starting to break up. Starting to bubble up. You're getting the air out of it. It's what basically you're doing. You're getting all the air out of this. You don't want to let it sit too long in one spot. This is the part of cooking I really like because you can start to smell it. butter's starting to toast the flour. It gets a really, like a nutty smell. While you're cooking it, you can let it sit and don't stir for a few, 15 seconds or so. And then when you start stirring again, you'll see it turn a little shade darker. It's just kind of speeds up the cooking process. We're not going to go too dark here. We're just looking for a blonde roux. The original recipe that I found on the internet, it's close, but it's missing that creaminess that I think this is going to help with. This is the same thing you do, or I would do, for the macaroni and cheese. So I think this is it'll thicken it up a little bit and give it a little better adherence to the pasta. So we'll see how it turns out. Okay, we've still got this on kind of a medium low. You can see pretty much all the bubbles have disappeared now. Okay, I think that's about as dark as I want to get it. Like I said, we're not going for anything really dark here. We're just looking to, you can see it's starting to get a little cooked right there, and you leave it there for a second, it turns a little shaded brown. So I think we're where we want to be. I've got 2 cups of buttermilk. It's been sitting out for a few minutes, so it's not going to be cold, but we're going to add a little at a time. Stir that around. And your roux will break up a little bit. That's normal. Nothing wrong with that. But you want to keep stirring. It'll thicken up. And add a little more. Whoops. Making a mess. Well, if nothing else, this show helps me keep my stove clean, so. All right, that's the last of it there. Just get this all blended together real well. I got it down on low heat now. Now, if you were just making a white gravy, you could add salt and pepper to this, and this would be great on biscuits. Although we all know you need bacon grease or sausage or something else to make it really great gravy, but this is basically your cream gravy that you make for biscuits. All right, we're gonna get our fire going underneath our pasta pot over here. Cook our noodles in a little bit here. This is turning out pretty good. I think that's about where I want it. We're going to put it into a stainless bowl that will help stop the cooking process. And then we're going to mix some the other ingredients in there with it after this cools down a little bit. So let's go ahead and cut our fire off on this. Got our bowl here. All right, let's transfer this over to the bowl. What I like to do is use a rubber spatula to get it all Don't want to waste any. All right, there we go. We'll let that cool off a little bit and add the rest of our ingredients to it. We got our pasta water heating up. Get our pasta cooked and get this thing assembled. All right, let's get this chicken ready. Like I said, we get our chicken from a local processor. Have a really great taste. I'm just going to cube this chicken up. The chicken, like I said, it's not really the star of this. It's just the meat that's in the dish. But I've tried this and I thought, well, let's really brown the chicken up and add some spices to it. But no, it doesn't work. The chicken just needs to be chicken. And the star is the pasta and the sauce. I'm probably not going to use all this chicken. It calls for maybe 2 to 3 cups. You can use as much chicken or as little as you like. It doesn't matter. What we don't use in this, we can make something else. I'm just cubing it up. When I get it in the pan, I'll probably break it up a little more just with the spatula, just to. All right, and all we're going to add to this is just a little salt and pepper. All right, that's all there is to that. We'll get this, I was going to say browned up, but we're not really going to brown it up. We're just going to cook it till it's done, or close to done. Going to cook it in the oven for the rest of the time. But as soon as that bechamel cools down, we'll incorporate the other ingredients of that and move ahead in the process. All right, I think our gravy here is cooled down enough. We're going to add the rest of the ingredients in. And basically what you're doing is you're following what the instructions on the ranch dressing pack, which called for 2 cups of buttermilk, which we use that incorporated into our gravy. So it's 2 cups of mayonnaise. All right, then we get our 2 cups of mayonnaise. I'll just put that in there and clean that off a little bit. And then 2 packets of the Hidden Valley restaurant style buttermilk dressing recipe. And take our whisk and just work all that in. You could do this earlier in the day, put it back in the fridge, let it sit for a while, it will kind of blend together. For this purpose, we're probably got about an hour or so that it's going to sit, but that's all right. I assure you it'll still be good. All right, there we go. So there's our ranch dressing mix with our added bechamel that we're trying to see if that thickens it up a little bit. And let's get some chicken cooking. All right, we got our pan heating up here. We'll turn the fire back up on our pasta water. I'm just going to add a little bit of vegetable oil. I don't measure that. going to take a little salt, add to our pasta water. I used to add oil to my pasta water to keep the pasta from sticking together, but what you're doing then is keeping the sauce from sticking to your pasta. So the salt adds a little seasoning, but it's not necessary. If you watch your pasta and stir it occasionally, it's not going to stick together. Let's get this chicken fried up, or cooked up. When you dump them in, just let them sit for a little bit. Otherwise, they're going to be sticking to the pan. You want them to go ahead and cook a little bit on the bottom so they'll free themselves up from the pan. See how easy that comes off if you just let it sit for a minute. And all we're wanting to do here is just get it close to done. We're not trying to brown it up. We're not trying to sear it. We're just moving it ahead. Like I said, chicken's really not the star of this show, so. Okay, when we get to this point where not really any pink showing anymore, I like to go in and just start kind of breaking up some of it. I can't just leave it alone and let it cook. I'll have to mess with it, so. Just breaking up some of the bigger pieces. I mean, you could do shredded chicken if you wanted to. That wasn't the original recipe, but nothing wrong with doing that if you want to. I just like to break them up into a little bit smaller bite-sized pieces. You can tell when they start getting a little more done because they do cut a little easier, so it's also kind of a doneness test for me. All right, I think that's about done. Like I said, we're not trying to get a brown on this. We're not trying to sear these. We just want some good tender chicken. So I'm going to transfer these to a bowl. All right, as soon as that pasta water boils, we'll get our pasta going and start constructing this meal. All right, we moved our pasta pot up to the front eye so you can see it a little better. We've got our box of rotini pasta, and let's get that going. It says for al dente we want about 7 minutes, so that's what we'll do. And at this time, let's go ahead and preheat our oven to, I'm going to go to 385. The original recipe calls for 375, but my oven doesn't cook as hot as some. So we usually bump ours up just a little bit for the difference. So we'll get that going and get our pasta going. Give that a little stir so it's not sticking. Bring it back up to a boil. All right, we're coming back up to a boil. We'll give it another stir. And what I usually do is I'll turn my fire down a little bit. It's still gonna cook at a good simmering. You just don't wanna, cook it at a big rolling boil for the whole time, so. We'll stir it every couple of minutes. Okay, we've cooked our pasta for about 7 minutes. I'm going to give it a stir and cut the fire off of that. We'll drain this out and get ready to assemble our chicken pasta supreme. Okay, let's assemble this. Get it in the oven. We're going to take a little olive oil spray. Coat our pan pretty good. Go with our noodles. This is 3 cups of chicken. It was actually 4 chicken breasts, but like I said, our chicken breasts are smaller because we don't use the grocery store ones. So 2 to 3 cups is fine. You can do this in a 9x11 pan. That's what I've always used. I just wanted to use this bigger pan. Give you a little more surface area. Don't be quite as thick. So the construction part of this is noodles on the bottom. Then you put your chicken. Then you go with your ranch dressing mix. Ooh, that smells good. And like before, I'm going to take a spatula and get all of this out of here. Spread that around. The recipe calls for putting the cheese on before this, but I kind of like to do it this way because then the cheese melts down into the thing, and this coats the noodles a little better. All right. Take our mozzarella cheese. Calls for 3 cups. Sounds like a lot. And that's why it tastes like it does. And we're going to keep a little of this in reserve. I may do some individual serving dishes, and we're going to keep the rest of that cheese for that. And we've got our Parmesan cheese. Calls for 2 cups of this. All right, we're going to keep that. And then last, certainly not least, oregano. That adds a lot of flavor to this dish. Let's just pull that off and do it this way. And I'm not measuring this, I'm just going by sight. You can put as little or as much as you like. This really adds to the flavor of it. All right. Okay. Let's put this in the oven. We're going to put it in a 375, well, 385 oven on mine. We're going to put this in the oven for about 25 minutes. I'll just go ahead and put it at 30 minutes. Our oven's a little slow. So we'll just see what it looks like. Well, basically what you're trying to do is get a little brown on top, and it'll be ready to go. Okay, wound up being about 40 minutes. Looking really good. Brown on top. So we're gonna pull this out of here. See what we got. Ooh. We're gonna let this cool off. I'm actually gonna put it in a couple of individual cast iron things and put them back under the broiler for a minute, and we'll take a test and see how it tastes. Well, here we are. I did a little extra. I've got some cast iron individual serving plates that I took some of the pasta, put in there, and put it under the broiler for a couple of minutes, just to kind of make it more individual. But I think the bechamel helped, but it's not necessary. If you just, the sauce we put in it, if you just do the ranch packet, follow the directions on the ranch packet, and just do the 2 cups of buttermilk, 2 cups of mayonnaise, and the ranch dressing, and put that in there. You don't have to do the bechamel. It comes out just fine without it. But let's take a taste, see what it tastes like. That's excellent. Got that ranch flavor. Brings back a lot of memories. So hey, if you like it, try it. You know, if you like the video, share it, and like our videos, and we'll be coming out with some more. But you know, give the glory to God, because through him all things are possible. So we'll see you next time.